Welcome to Selling in the Motor Trade, in association with Automotive Management and Simco Training. This is the weekly podcast where we share best practice, tips, and ideas on how to sell more cars, improve your service department, and generally put more profit into your dealership or dealer group. I'm your host, Simon Bowkett, or some of you might already know me as Skippy. And firstly, I want to say thank you for taking the time to tune in. Hi, welcome to another episode of Selling in the Motor Trade. And listen, you've probably heard that we've just hit our 100 episodes, and I'm so proud to hit that 100 mark. This podcast started as something in that very first lockdown. You remember that? It started in my son's bedroom, and I thought, what are we going to do? Let's just do a podcast. I want to do it. Let's see how it goes on. And it's just growing and growing. So, hey, big thanks for Automotive Management. We started this off with and what they've done. And a big thank you to you, the listeners, the readership. I never know what to call people who listen to podcasts.
Follow us, Simon.
The followers. Thank you, Colin. And today I'm joined again with the Selling the Motor Trade friend, and he's been on before, Colin McAllister. So this is our 101 episode, 101. So what we thought we'd do is we'd actually do the 101 in sales. If you listen to this in America, you know exactly what we're talking about. 101 to how to sell. Okay. If you're in other parts of the world, I'm sure you heard that as well. So this is going to be the 101 in sales. And Colin and I were talking because we have lots of salespeople, lots of clients, the group that Colin works with. Okay. We've noticed that lots of salespeople have been selling over the last 2 years in quite an easy environment to sell cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't get new cars, can't get used cars. And actually, you didn't have to be a genius to sell a car 18 months ago. But now we're noticing we need to get back to the basics, the 101s. So this is an episode that the sales managers listen to this, the managing director of the dealer group. If you're in one of the manufacturers, we've got so many manufacturers now listening to this, Colin. This is an episode you're probably going to want to send out to the sales people in your organization. Okay. So again, please share it, send it out to your salespeople there. And we're going to cover through the 101s of sales, the basics. So without further ado, Colin, welcome back to Selling the Motor Trade. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me. Sales 101, fantastic. Looking forward to that. Yeah, absolutely right. You know, so many people have become, I wouldn't say complacent, but it's just been easy. You know, we've had lots of inquiries coming in. We've had more customers than we've had vehicles. We've been able to maintain our prices, and we've been able to sell vehicles in spite of ourselves. But now, you know, things are starting to get hard. We're getting some cars coming through, and perhaps it's not the right cars that we want. It's just what the OEM, sorry, I don't really call them manufacturers. This is what they've made, and we've then got to push them. So we need to get back to sales talents. We need to get back to the absolute basics. You know, many people that know me know that I fight, and everything in fighting is back to those basics. It's back to your stance. It's back to everything, and getting your footwork right. And so the Sales 101 is all about sales footwork.
Yeah. And again, some salespeople might be listening to this, but you might remember the story, you know, the sharpening of the axe or sharpening of the
Stephen Covey's. Yeah,
it is. I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're right. It's the way I heard the story. I'm pretty sure it is Stephen Covey, actually. Tells this great story about two people are having this race to see how many trees they can cut down in a forest. Okay, you've got the young buck. This is kind of like a tortoise and hare story, I suppose, Colin. Yeah. But you've got the young buck. If I remember the story right, someone will DM me and say, "Oh no, you got that wrong. It wasn't Stephen Covey. It was such and such." But the way I heard it, okay, it's a great story. Whoever said it. To start off with the young buck, okay, and he's cutting as many trees as he can. He just goes to it flat out. But you've got the wise old man sits down for the first hour, and this young guy is sitting there thinking, "What's he doing, Granddad? I'm going to win this so easily." And he almost starts backing off. But of course, the smart old man, he was sitting there sharpening the axe for the first hour. That's all he was doing. And then, of course, when he started cutting trees, he could cut trees so much more efficient. So if you're an experienced salesperson, listen to this, because your sales manager said, have a listen to that one. Actually, you're probably sitting in a sales meeting now, because so many people, they play this in their sales meetings, okay? I can see you in the back of that sales meeting thinking, oh, teaching Granny to suck eggs. Here we go.
What's all this about? I don't need this nonsense.
We know you know this. Let's just sharpen the saw, okay? You've got a toolbox of ideas on how to sell things. No one wants to take tools out of your toolbox. What we want to do is sharpen your tools up and maybe put a few more tools in the toolbox. So Colin, with that, what are some of the basics that you see, some of your salespeople, some salespeople in the industry that have maybe not forgotten, but not using as much as they should do?
Yeah, I think we used to run a program called the Sales Performance Boost Program, and anyone who was dropping below their minimum number, we would put them on this program. And there was one consistent part of the sales process that they had all dropped out of their sales process.
Right.
And so here's a sign for it. So sales managers, heads of business, look in your dealership, right? And these are two factors that will tell you this is happening in your dealership. You'll see a customer, and the customer's pumping up the lino with their feet going, where's that sales guy? I've been here 20 minutes, I've not got a price for my car. What's going on? Where's he off to now? And they're looking all over the place. The other one you see is the salesman's in, the sales controller going, right, come on, man, I need a price for this car. The guy's going to walk. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
So true.
The customer doesn't know what's happening. The salesperson's put himself under pressure because what they haven't done is a signposting statement, or some people call it the agenda set, right?
Yeah.
Telling the customer what's going to happen. So now that you like my car, what we're going to do, we're going to capture some details on the system. That will allow us to prepare a personalised quote. Now, the quote, we're regulated by the FCA, so we have to take through a statement of demands and needs because we have to give you a fully compliant, fully protected first offer. So we're going to qualify you to see exactly what products you're eligible for. Then we're going to do a professional valuation on your vehicle. And now we use an iPad to do that, and we take photographs because we're going to share that across 43 of our sites. So all of our managers are going to bid for your car. So the appraisal itself will take us about 20 minutes. And ideally, you want to come with me because you know your car better than I do. Once we've done that appraisal, then we're going to send the pictures round those managers and get the best bids. So while that's happening, you and I will go on a demonstration drive in the car. Because no matter what price I make the car, if it's not the right car, it's not the right car. So we want to make sure that you're going to love this car. It's going to be the right car for you for the next 2-3 years, so you come back and buy your next car off me.
Yeah.
So that will take about an hour. And then if you like the car at the end of the test drive, then we're going to present an offer to you. So the whole process is going to take about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes. You've got the time to do that today, Simon, yes?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I love the head shaking. People are listening to this podcast. Colin's doing the head shaking, lots of little yeses.
Yes tags and head shakes, the Carolina nods, right? Yeah. And so the customer now knows, great. So then he's not sitting going, where's this guy? Now I know I've got plenty of time to get up the proper value for this car, and I don't have to worry about it. The pressure's off.
Yeah.
And we can just do a proper professional sales process.
There's so many things in there I want to unpack, Colin. So many things. Isn't that what a good restaurant does? You go to a great restaurant, you have the maitre d' that comes in and tells you exactly what's going to happen and what the specials are, and Jenny's going to come and look after you. And you compare that to going to that low-cost restaurant that's like you have to find the table number, find the menu, go to the bar to organize drinks yourself and all that. That's just telling people what's going to happen. You're so much more relaxed. I love that. Yeah. And the other thing I really got to unpack on that is taking the customer with you to the car. Too often, it's just not happening at the moment. So often I'm seeing sales people going looking at the car by themselves. The customers are back at the desk. They're having this conversation. What do you think we'll get for our car? I don't know, probably $6,000. Well, let's tell them 7. You shut up because you opened your mouth last time. Look what we bought. Well, don't buy me what I want. You're getting no nookie for the next month. Yeah. It's worse than that. Colin, they're saying, have you got your iPhone there? Yeah, let's just go and have a look at Auto Trader.
Yeah, absolutely.
I promise you. Oh, look at this. There's a car here at Optimus Motors. Okay. They actually want $8,995 for it. Look, there's a private customer who actually wants $9,000 for it. Now, they're either actually or metaphorically on drugs, But that's what a customer's doing while they're by themselves. I love taking the customer with you to the car. Sell it to me. Do you get resistance from salespeople though, saying, "Oh, I don't like the customer with me when I'm looking at their car"?
Yeah, all the time, but there's a number of benefits to it. We did some part exchange appraisal training recently, and we had a Mercedes-Benz A-Class with us, and 4 out of 5 salespeople couldn't find the thing to release the bonnet on the vehicle. Right? So you would ask the customer, could you just pop the bonnet for me, sir? Right? So I can check the headlight dates, match and things. So they were like, oh, so if a customer was with you, so yes, you're going to get the customer point now. That's the 20-inch Fandango alloys that they cost me $3.5 grand. Oh, fancy alloys are important to this customer.
Yeah.
But also, there's one of the daft wee tricks I teach, and I know everybody listening and watching this podcast knows this particular fact, but it's the way you put it across, right? So Simon's looking at part exchanges here. I look at the bonnet, I see a wee scratch there. I say, Simon, just going to try and save you a wee bit of money here. You see that wee scratch there? Now, if I run my nail over it, if my nail catches, it's going to need paint. If it doesn't, it's just going to polish out. I go, yeah, beauty, that's going to polish out. And so the way I've put that across, Simon now knows I'm on his side. I'm trying to get him the best possible money for the car. Now, the next scratch, you don't have to go, oh, Simon, I'm just going to, because he knows that. You just go, oh, that's going to need paint. Sorry, Simon. And you mark it down and take the photograph. But now the customer's going, well, this guy's actually thorough. He's professional. He's tried to save me money. One of my favourites is you do it and you get a bit of bird dropping. You go, oh, just bird dropping. Brilliant. And the customer's like, never been so happy to have birds dropping over my car. It just builds up that relationship and that rapport. The customer really trusts you. And so it's easier to present the price.
The other thing that I do get resistance, and I get a lot of sales managers, dealer principals saying, my salesperson's lazy. That could be the case, but I just don't buy it. No. I don't think we sign up to work the hours we work as salespeople in the motor trade if we're naturally lazy. If you're naturally lazy, there's so many other jobs you could actually go and find. Okay. I think the salespeople may have not seen the value in doing it sometimes, but the other bit that really I love is when it comes back to negotiation at the end. Damage on our cars, Colin, it happens slowly, doesn't it? Yep. They don't see the tear on the seat anymore because they've been sitting on it for the last 4,000 kilometers or miles. They don't see the chip in the windscreen anymore because they've been looking around it. Have you ever bought a new pair of shoes? A great shoe salesperson puts the new pair beside the old one because you don't realize how beat up and scuffed the old shoes are till you compare it to the new one. So that's it. But again, going further, I want to get your views on using that time to maybe plant some seeds on your value added product, or what would you recommend? Leave that out, or is that
no? You definitely do that because that's where there's a real value. This is where the customer who's lived with that scratched alloy, who hasn't even noticed that their tires are degrading, they're all cracking because they've left them underinflated for 3 weeks at a time because they work offshore, and so they've not paid it. And that's where you can get that in and say, I see you've got 3 Dunlop tires in one land sale. What happened with this? Oh, I had that puncture. It was the last day of the month. I was absolutely skint. I bought the cheapest tyre I could find. So as you see, I've done this with a depth gauge, and this is at 3 mil, and the others are at 5.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I love that. So clearly coming into tyre insurance, alloy there, and So
we do it with the sort of like your SuperGuard, LifeShine, GuardX, those products. We've got a wee button at the bottom, and most people will use the BCA appraisal tool, right?
Yep.
So you're on the iPad, and you get to the interior, and there's a wee button down here that says requires interior valet, right? Now, we don't sell a car ever with the interior valet in it. So we take it off the transporter because it's interior valet. The head of business has been driving it for 3 weeks, and it gets an interior valet.
Yep.
So that's like saying, has your house got a letterbox, right? Yeah. So the button isn't there to hit to say it requires an interior valet. It's there for 2 reasons. One, to sell you more LifeShine, SuperGuard, GuardX. Or it's to say the car's howling, right? So the first one, you say, Simon, I noticed you've got the SuperGuard sticker up there. So I know that all of this stuff here is just going to hoover right off.
I just pause slightly. I might have to translate for our audience in America. We're getting more and more people in America. Howling, I imagine that means in Scottish, not very nice inside.
Yes, a bit smelly. Okay. I thought you were going to go wing. Is it Ming and Wins in America? The the painted fabric.
In Australia, we have Ming. Welcome to the Australian audience. Ming, is your car minging, sir? Yes, that's
that would mean it was shining in Australia, but yeah. So
it is,
the
yes.
So the button, what you'd say is the customer, listen, I only need to hit this. I won't need to hit this button because I know all this will hoover off. I'm just going to add a wee note so that my sales controller gives you the £200-300 extra because you've got that product on there. And then we've just sold the supercard. The only time we hit the button is if the car smells, and we say it's cigarettes, pets, or pensioners.
Yeah, okay.
If it smells at any of those three, we hit that button, and that means for us, for our trade team, this is a trade car. It's off. And so, but it's that having that interaction with the customer, you know, walking out to the car, you know, Simon, when you bought this car, how did you protect the car? And most customers go, what do you mean, how did I protect it? You know, I locked it at night. You know, well, some people will protect it cosmetically, you know, they'll take out a paint and fabric protection, and this is what it does. And some people, they'll protect it financially. So they'll take out like a guaranteed asset protection policy. So if there's any shortfall, if there's an unfortunate incident between what they owe the finance company and what the insurance company sees that policy is going to top them up to the position they were in when they purchased the car. Did you take any of them? And so you've had that conversation on the way out to the car.
Yeah, I love you not selling it there. And it's too many times I get salespeople try and sell the whole product there. Oh, here's this thing called RTI. This is how Gap works. It's just planting that seed or putting a hook in, whatever you want to call it, I suppose.
Yeah. That's I mean, we just look for them. Put a hook in while you're doing a part exchange appraisal, because that's when the people are getting the kind of, they're getting the impact and the pain of that damage or not having that product, and that's where it starts to make sense to them.
Hey, going forward, when are you driving the car? With a customer, without? Are you driving the car at that point later on? What would you recommend?
Absolutely, definitely driving the car, specifically now, because one of the biggest problems we have, and we'll share this with all the other dealer groups as well, is that the cars you sent to auction, you know, 4 years ago, you sent a car to auction and you had like 5 or 6 people in there looking at the car going, oh, they're about 5 meters away, and they go, yeah, I'm having that, and they're bidding. Yep. Now, the auctions are all online.
Yes.
But there's so many indemnities. So the auction has a very detailed cosmetic report and a very detailed mechanical report on the vehicle. So if you miss anything, so if you haven't driven it and you don't know it's not got a 5th gear, if you haven't opened the blind for the panoramic sunroof because the customer knew it was cracked and they left it closed, then you're getting caught out.
Yeah.
And quite severely, you know, we've lost, you know, we lost 1,500 quid on a car because it had no 5th gear on there. So, you know, and I'm sure we're not alone in that. So it's making sure that's driven. It needs to be driven. Yep. So at least we can make sure it's got all the gears, that the things work, and we've not got any cracks in a panoramic sunroof. You know, really wanting to check and make sure that everything's right with the vehicle. You know, running your provenance checks. And then simple things, you know, I don't know if you saw the Dispatches program on Channel 4 on Tuesday there.
No, I missed that one.
So they were looking at, you know, people were selling vehicles that have been in a salvage auction.
Right.
And they were selling them as non-accident damage because they were non-declared.
Cat C's and D's, so damaged cars, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Again, Cat C's and D's. Again, other countries, we've got to keep talking about this. They're just written off cars that insurance write-offs, I think, that have been resurrected in Ireland. There's a name from out there. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Again, someone will DM me and tell me exactly what it is.
Accident damage reparables is probably a nice way of describing it.
Yeah.
But, you know, so quite simply, some of the checks that you're looking at on there, and most people know, you check that the front number plate's got the same branding on it as the back number plate. You're looking for any kind of strange misalignment of the panel gaps. Is there paint missing off the nuts holding the bonnet on? But one of the things, when I was doing the appraisal training around the sites, not a lot of people knew about the date stamps on headlights.
Wow, I don't know that one. Run through that.
No, so every single headlight has got a date stamp on it. So you lift the bonnet, and if it's a 2015 car, and that headlight's 2015, and this headlight's 2018.
Wow, it's had a bit of a...
Number one reason would be that that's probably been in a smack. You know?
Yeah, great one. A great little one there. Okay. Hey, here's something else I picked up the other day. I used to do it years ago, but with the iPads, it's easy to do now. I love taking the customer for a drive with me in their car. And it's real simple. Hey, Mr. McAllister, I just need to take the car for a quick drive around the block. Hey, but for insurance purposes, would you just jump in here for me for a second? And then Colin, hand him the iPad. Oh, can you just hold on to this, please? Now you've got your customer reading everything you've said about their car on the iPad. And if they had in their mind that they wanted $7,500 for the car, they're sitting there thinking, hold on, he's right, it does need 2 tires, and he's allowed $250 a tire. Actually, it has got that scrape down the side. It's a lovely way of subtly evaluating customers' expectations there. And again, with iPads, it's so easy to do that. You might even want to, maybe this is too far, I don't know, you decide, people listen to this. Say, hey, Colin, would you just have a look through that on the iPad and see if I've missed anything on specification of your car? Make sure they're looking at it. But I love them to see the reconditioning costs that we put in there. Things that people don't realize.
Yeah, that specification one's really good at the end because it is right at the end, so it's a nice summary of the vehicle. Just make sure I've got this right, sir, and boom, and it's terrific. I tell you a cracker that one of our general managers was teaching my sales cadet program, and he was involved in the part exchange appraisal training, and this was beautiful. So now he works in our used car superstore brand, Motor Choice. So he's selling used cars all the time, and obviously because of car availability right now, we're selling vehicles far older than we've ever sold before. So he says, okay, Simon, so we're going to go and value your car. Now tell me, out of 10, how would you rate your car? Bearing in mind that the car that you're looking to buy is an 8. It's not a 10, because a 10 would be a brand new car with brand new tires.
To that. Oh, I love the bit he's added. We'd always say 10's the day the car left the factory to stop that. Because I could take what he's trying to do there, as most people say, it's a 10. It's a 10. Yep. The car turns up, it's had more hits than the Beatles. And they go, well, it is a 10 out of 10 for a 4-year-old car. But bearing in mind, the used car you're buying is an 8.
Yeah.
You rate yours. Oh, I like that.
So he's already setting, this is the expectation on my car, because it's not straight out of the factory either. It's used.
Yes.
And just a really, really nice move. And so you're on part exchange appraisal, that, how did you protect your car? Taking the customer with you, and that, where would you rate it out of 10, bearing in mind the car you're looking to buy is an 8. It just sets everything up nicely. I
suppose this is 101 for the whole sales process. We've done the appraisal to death. I hope you got some stuff there. But listen, go back and do that. Set the agenda first. That's what we need to make sure they do. Tell people what we're going to do to get the best price. Oh, the other thing I wanted to unpack about that is you actually turn around and say, I'm going to go and give this to either a few independent buyers or people within our group. I'm going to email these photos. So it's not just Colin McAllister says their car's worth 4. Because if me as a salesperson says the car's worth 4,000 euros and they don't like 4,000 euros, they don't like me. If we say my boss, Colin McAllister, my sales manager says the car's worth 4,000 euros, they now don't like my boss and the whole dealership. But if you turn around and say, my boss, Colin McAllister, has done a bit of homework in your car, he's called a few independent buyers, the market value on your car is 4,000. We always say, let the people be unhappy with the market, not that individual person. And that's where I just love what you've added in there as well.
But the other reason behind it is people have that inherent need for comparison. So what we've done for you is we went through the trouble of comparing 43 dealerships' bids for you and coming up with the best one. So we've satisfied your need for comparison in one place, sir.
Why shop around, sir? Because we've done it for you. We've done the shop for you. Hey, listen, I want to get your views on this. And people listen to this, you won't agree with everything I say, okay? Colin and I love the banter. We say, we do it this way, we do it that way. Go back and have a listen about the length of the See It Now videos. And we had a great conversation how we do it differently. And I'd love to agree with Colin, but we'd both be wrong. And that's a joke. That's a joke. Okay.
It's as well as in Cheshire and I'm in Aberdeen, isn't it?
Hey, listen, here's another one. And I do love this because this is where we learn. We think about what we do. We change it. Has the world changed? Whatever. There's one thing that I want to talk about. You said, I have to do this for the FCA. One thing we'd almost speak to our salespeople on is try and be careful the way you say it. Because if you say you have to do it, it's kind of like my kids have to clean their teeth before they go to bed. They might not want to, but they have to. Instead of saying that, hey, listen, the FCA insists we run through this for your own protection, it might be a different way. And I can't quite remember how you said it there before, but it was something...
Well, the way I always explain it is that the FCA got involved in the car industry to regulate it. It's not because we were selling products, but because we weren't actually telling people about things that they were
Right.
eligible
Okay, I'm
for.
with you. Yep.
So, and it was just explaining, it's like, listen, we're regulated by the FCA, so we're going to take you through a statement of demands and needs so that you're making sure that the first offer we give you is a fully compliant and fully protected offer. All the products you're eligible for will be in there for you to consider.
Yeah, love it. Okay.
Yeah, what you used to get is people going, oh, right, I need to run through this FCA rubbish, man. And then all you've done is just told the customer everything I'm about to say is rubbish, man. So don't buy it.
And their body language, I just have to I just got to go through this. I've got to. And it's just, that's the bit we're trying to avoid. So we're on the same page there. It's how we introduce it. It's so important, isn't it?
And we've sold so many more products since the FCA's come in than we did before.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Yeah, now, listen, use it.
We've talked about like setting the agenda or the signposting right at the beginning. We talked about the trade-in appraisal, the part exchange appraisal, lots. Next thing, 101, remember, this is the basics. What are some of the basics we need to get back to focusing on, in your opinion?
Well, human nature will never change. Technology might change, but human nature, when people buy people, and that's selling ourselves, getting in. So, I talk about this what I call provenance. So it's like the provenance of the site. So, we're here, and I'll just use one of our sites up here in Aberdeen. So I'm here at Aberdeen Audi, Europe's largest workshop with #1 retailer of Audis in Europe. We've got 256 car parking spaces. So I'm sure you'll find one when you get here. My name's Colin McAllister. And so you're just selling the site. You're then selling yourself. And then, let me tell you, this A4 that you've picked is an absolute cracker. And then you talk about the car. But so many times, because we get an internet lead and the customer's landed on the car and we know they've been spending 6 weeks doing all the research, we get straight into trying to do a deal on that car, but not selling us and not selling our experience. And so that people by people thing is so critical. We need to get right into that. And I don't want to use the A word in this podcast.
The A word, go on.
Agency. But sorry, Simon. But if you look at agency, what are we selling? If the price is set by the OEM on the vehicle, then what we've got to sell is us and our experience. And that's when the customer picks us over the dealership 30 miles away.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that people by people, if you're worried about agency, then make sure your people sell themselves. That's it.
Yeah. So true. Agency is happening. Okay, I think it's just happening. We need to get our heads around how to do it. So yeah, we definitely need to do this.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Motability has been a form of agency for years. What are we doing there? The price is set by Motability. We can't do anything to influence the price. So it's our person versus the other person, and that's where the customer makes a decision on a people basis.
And that's that provenance. Love that. Okay, and then after that, other things there.
A big thing for me, setting an appointment. Setting an appointment with somebody. So many times people will say, the guy's due in at 11, but he'll probably be late. Well, what have you done to make sure he's on time? What have you done to build that reciprocation and obligation? So a simple example. Okay, Mr. Bowkett, so you want to come in and you want to look at that Discovery Sport. Now, as you saw on the web, it's in my forecourt display. So to get that car out, I'm going to have to move 3 cars. So I'll move those 3 cars, I'll put them back on display, and I'm going to take your car and get it fueled, because we're not allowed to store the cars with loads of fuel in them for insurance purposes. So I'll take it to the fuel station. I'm then going to get it back, I'm going to get it cleaned. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reserve the trade plates so you can take a test drive. Now, there's 7 salespeople here and there's only 3 sets of trade plates. So I don't want you hanging around for ages while I try and find the trade plates for the car. So I'm going to book them for you. Now,
the obligation there. How much obligation have you got there? It's 3, 4, 5 times there. Yeah. It's you're not gonna. They're gonna turn up at that time, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. They say, okay, now I'm going to do that for you. What I need you to do for me, Simon, is I need you to dig out all the paperwork for your car. Like, bring all your finance paperwork for you. Frequently, I can find £200 to £300 in that paperwork that you didn't know you had. And I'm going to get that back for you, and we can add that into your deposit. And obviously, I need you to bring your car. How many people turn up without them? It's crazy.
No, we've got to pause there. How many people turn up without their car? They do it on purpose. Something's wrong with the car.
Exactly.
It's a get out of jail free card. Can't possibly buy a car today. I didn't bring my car.
Yeah, absolutely. So I need you to bring your car with you, bring both keys for the car and your full service history for the car. If you get a chance, just have a quick look around the car and throw some things out. You know, the dried up nail varnish, the sunglasses you've sat on, the phone charger for 4 phones ago. Get all that in the bin. Just make sure the car's, you know, relatively tidy. Now, if there's something in the boot of your car that you need regularly, your golf clubs, a push chair, you know, whatever, bring that with you, because we need to make sure that fits your new car, don't we?
Yeah.
And I'm nodding again, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so the customer's now mental ownership on the vehicle. Excellent. So then we end up with, we've got a wee bit of obligation for the customer. They've got to do stuff. And what we're creating is what we call here, and loads of people have nicked this off me, is what we call a Rager pack.
The Rager pack. Not heard that one. You got to explain
Yeah,
that.
so the guy comes in, he's got a full service history, he's got a receipt for Lidl's for £3.70 for a wiper, because you've told him the sales manager's going to get it, and he brings in this, and I know psychologically, oh, it's a deal.
Ching, that's
because
a
he's
deal.
brought the stuff, you know. He's prepared to buy, I need to be prepared to sell. The one last thing, and you know, like yourself, I do a lot of
Rager pack. They turn up with the Rager pack.
Okay. The Rager pack attack, that's what we need. So like yourself, I do a lot of rob and duplicate, and I had a fantastic sales guy at Honda that I had the pleasure of working with, a guy called Mert Zorlu. And this was his way of establishing somebody's authority, right?
Yep.
So, so Simon, that Discovery Sport, we're going to drive that 10:15 on Saturday. So we've got all the stuff you've got to bring with you. Now, listen, what do you take? Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Tea? And how do you take that?
Just black tea.
Black tea, fantastic. Now, is anyone else coming with you that would want tea?
Yeah, Emma will probably have a coffee though.
Emma, so she wants coffee. And how does Emma take her coffee?
She just takes a white coffee with one.
White coffee with 1 sugar. Well, let's stick a couple of extra sugars in there to sweeten her up.
No, I'll be in trouble for that one. Okay.
Now, here's what's happened, folks. Simon's just told me that he's the decision maker in this relationship. Right? He doesn't know he's done that, but because he wasn't expecting this. You can see his face.
I wasn't expecting that. Where are you going with this?
If he'd said, yes, you need to sweeten her up, that means he's not the decision maker. She is. But he said, no, don't worry about it. So he's the decision maker. So this was Mert's way of establishing authority.
I'm with you. Well, I am clearly under the thumb. Okay, so who knows me? But no, I wouldn't dare mess around with my wife's coffee. So I love what you've done there. It's the decision maker there. And so I want to talk about devil's advocate, okay? Because someone's listening to this in that sales meeting, and I'm going to call these guys the yeah buts. Okay, they're in the corner going, yeah, but Colin, you told him there's only 3 trade plates, and I'm one of 7 salespeople, and I'm going to put fuel in the car. What if I don't do that? I suppose if you told a customer you're going to do all that, guess what a salesperson has to do?
All of that.
I have to go and do it. But listen, doesn't that prepare the salesperson? Too often, the customer turns up and it's like, where's the car? Flat battery in the back, all those things.
Absolutely. The fact that you've dug it out the lot, you've taken it to fuel station, that means the battery started. To my sales cadets, I tell them, if a customer ever sees you start a vehicle they're looking at with a jump pack, you've lost.
Yeah.
Because right away, you're buying a new battery for that car. Now, it might not be now, it might be 11 months' time. The battery goes, and you go, I remember this battery was faulty when I went to see it.
Yep.
And you're going to come back, and that's going to turn into a complaint, and you're going to end up buying a battery. So you're going to be, I nearly lost my microphone there. You're going to be super prepared on this, but you know you're doing it. Now, I'm going to go even worse. So the yeah buts are going to hate me right now. Are you all ready to yeah but really loud? Because if Simon's due in at 10:15 on that Discovery Sport that's sitting outside there, like, I'm going to calculate how long it's going to take him to get here. So let's say he stays half an hour away. So he needs to leave at 9:45. At 9:30, I'm going to be there doing a See It Now video. Simon, hi there, it's Colin McAllister up here at Pentland Land Rover in Newbridge, Edinburgh. Listen, just behind me is that Discovery Sport. As promised, I've taken it to the fuel station, I've fueled it up. By Christ, does it drive well. What a beautiful car you've picked. Absolute cracker. Now, I've hidden the trade plates. Don't tell my colleagues. They're waiting here for you. The car's absolutely ready for you. I'm ready for you. I'll have that tea and that coffee ready for you. I'll see you soon. Boom. Customer gets that 45 minutes before. Like, what's happening now?
Well, I tell you what, they're definitely turning up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're turning up on time, because they're thinking, wait a minute, there's a car salesman that's not even sold me a car, and he's done more than any other car salesman I've ever met before. And
even after I bought my car, he's done more than what I thought.
Exactly, yeah. So they're now thinking they've got a great guy. He's remembered the coffees, the teas, he's done the fuel, and he's already complimenting my car.
Yeah, great.
So they're reinforcing that positive decision to do business with you.
So listen, let's talk about the 101 on this, on qualification then. So what else do we need to make sure we do or get back to? What do you see salespeople skimping on qualification?
Well, all the time, people are skimping. So, you go back to, and it'll probably be different from your sales training to mine, but, we use mantra. So, so that's money. So how are they funding it? What's the budget? Authority, who's paying for it, whose names are going to be registered and who's driving it, needs, what's put this on your shopping list, or, other questions along that lines. Timing, when you're looking to take delivery of it, you're looking for the Magnificent Seven, the warranties up, the road funder licenses running out, the MOTs due, the big service.
Urgency, yeah.
Absolutely, that's your timing there. Requirements, so either the nice to haves, I wouldn't mind if I had this, or a personal recommendation. Oh, Simon, what I recommend for you is that kind of, so that you make that a requirement, so no other dealer thinks they've got that. And then the most important part on that, the mantra, is the add-ons. It's the getting the hooks in for the vehicle protection products, or VAPs, whatever you want to call them. But it's getting your mindset into what is the customer. Let's get 22-inch alloys on it. I probably think that's going to be beneficial to them. Oh, that's got a pearlescent paint finish. Now, they can't get smart repair insurance for that, but they probably will want some paint protection. So it's getting into the mantra. And I always describe the mantra as being the head stuff. That's the checklist of, will it be this budget? Can I get it for this date? Does it have this on it? And so it's very much a checklisty head thing. Mm-hmm. We don't buy a lot of things with a head.
No, it's heart, isn't it?
We want to get this organ here involved. We want to get the heart involved. And that's where I think you call it spice, and I call it prices. But
Spicer. So we are similar: safety, performance, practicality, aesthetics, but you would call it precise
prices. So it's performance, reliability, image, comfort, economy, safety. So it's that motivating factor, or two or three if it's a couple. And it's how do we link this vehicle to those specific things? And so if I understand, that they're having their first kid and safety is really important to them, but they're quite an image conscious couple, so they still want to have it image and safety. And that's why they're looking at the Discovery Sport. Then I'm going to tailor my static demonstration to that and my video demonstration to that, so that everything's matching what they're looking for and not what I think of the car.
Is it so true about the heart? It's so, of course, they have. You go qualify the deal as well as the customer. Okay, there's deal qualification, customer qualification, and too many times you see a tow bar on the back of the car. Colin, I'll make a beeline to that salesperson and say, "Hey, what do they tow with that?" Half the time they have no idea. You think it through. If they're going to put a tow bar on their car, they're doing it for a hobby or an interest. If you speak to them about their hobby and their interest, they'll speak. If I speak to you about martial arts and fighting and the machete thing, we'll go off on track. If you speak to me about flying and landing on a beach in Barra in Scotland, forget the rest of the podcast, Colin. We'll talk about that. Oh, sorry, Colin and I, we did land on a beach in Barra in a little light aircraft a few years ago. But you talk to someone about their hobby and their interests, don't they open up? And actually, that's where salespeople just miss. They're qualifying the deal. It's deal qualification, not customer qualification.
And I think a lot of that is down, we get, we will not be any different from any other group really on this, is the vast majority of the leads that we get through are electronic leads. And we don't humanize that lead. We don't think about the human that's typed it. We think, there's one, they're called key loop now, but we still talk about them as rapids. Or there's one of the rapid responses. I've done that rapid response, boss. And we've not thought about the human being that's sitting at the end. You know what? The templates, one of our templates says, this car is an excellent choice. I'm excited to tell you more about it. And there's only about 10% of our actual salespeople that do that. I'm excited to tell you more about it, blank, blank, blank. But some of them will go, it's a one-owner vehicle, it's been lived here in Aberdeen, it's like, and they'll put the extra bits on. But they don't even look at the template.
Even see it now.
It.
I love, where fans will see it now. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Video. Okay. People in America see it now is a video sharing platform to make it easy to get a video through to the customers. But I tell you what, the amount of times it has that standard template to start with, which of course can be changed, but so many don't. Okay, yeah. And it says, rather than a few photographs, I prepared a personal video presentation. It's an opportunity for you to see the car in more detail. And then the video is just the salesperson talking about something else. And it's like, you've not read what they're going to read here.
I love the ones as well. So we talk about heart and head, and see the guy who's got the spec sheet, and he's like, so here's your Renault Twingo. It's got 5-volt USB-C socket, it's got 12-volt socket, because it's in alphabetical order, the spec sheet. That's head stuff. Put that in an email. Get the proper stuff. I don't know. We talked about See It Now before with my post-it notes and using that as a poor man's auto cue, and it just works. You're going to see 3-4 things about each bit of the car. Get in the cockpit, show them how you would live with it, and then your call to action at the end, really, really important. But it's always one of my wins as well on See It Now. So you get like the sales manager. It's going, have you phoned that guy with a See It Now yet? Have you phoned that guy with a See It Now yet? And so what happens is you get an email ping comes in. So customers watch the See It Now, and you get this email ping, and your sales manager all over you going, phone them. Now the problem is the sales manager doesn't look to see if they've watched the whole video.
Yeah.
Or just went like that. Oh, there's an email coming for me. Oh, that looks awfully long. I'm in a meeting now. And they put the phone back.
Yeah.
Because they're in a board meeting or they're doing a podcast. And if you imagine somebody phoning me right now to tell me that I'd won £1 trillion in the lottery, hello. Aye, listen, no, can you phone me later on? Aye, no. Listen, no, I'm really busy. Thanks very much. And that person at the £1 trillion lottery is going, that guy wasn't very interested. And so often what happens is a sales exec, we neg ourselves out because we phone the customer too quick. We want to wait until they've watched the whole video, appreciate the whole value that we've built across the video that we've created, and then phone them back when they've watched 100% of the video.
Yeah. We got to talk about the quality of these videos as well. Just yesterday, I did some training just purely around video, okay? Part of our Selling Online World program. And I know Jacob Satiris, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he's been on this before as well, and
I remember Jacob.
Well. Absolutely love it as well. But so many times we see the videos to start with, and it is that old feature dump. Okay, it's got, and again, it's old-fashioned. This is 101, right? But features, advantages, and benefit. Easy way to remember is has which so. As long as you're saying this vehicle has got the Apple CarPlay, which means that has which so. It just stops you as a salesperson. Listen to this. It stops you doing feature dump. I had this guys, and you know where that comes after the training course. Okay, had a brand new guy, was sensational from start to finish. This car's been in our workshop. One of our senior technicians has checked the 145 points in the car. It's an approved used Audi or whatever it is. What that means is we can give you the same warranty on this car. Then we had an experienced guy. And that's why we're doing this, I suppose, Colin. This experienced guy, good salesperson. The video was a list of, it's got leather seats, it's got the heated steering wheel, it's got, and you say, no, people have done 19 hours and 42 minutes of research. They know it's got leather seats. That's why they've inquired on that car.
Exactly. They know the car better than you. Yes. One of my favourite ones, we talk about the workshop check. One of the boys in the workshop has checked the car over. One of the boys, would you know, like employed proper technicians, your workshop, and it's so simple because we think it's like, one of the boys in the workshop will check that over, but you say that a customer, you're like, well, have one of the boys have a look at that. Listen, I stop at the traffic lights and boys look at my car, so I'm not letting pay £2 a minute for that. So is that what we say, how we say the video?
Yeah.
The preparation of that video is so critical, and getting the time behind it, planning out what you're going to say, going back and editing. So if you're using multi-part, you're doing one stage.
Devil's advocate. I want to play devil's advocate. Okay. This is for
That's your phrase of the day, devil's advocate.
This is the buts. Okay. It's in the corner. The salesman, but I can sell a car without video. Yeah, but do I need video? We don't really need video because you can sell a car. How important really is video, getting back to that process?
Well,
Now, I believe it is, by the way. So I'm
Yeah.
obviously being...
I can show you, from our stats, when we do a video that is over 2.5 minutes long in response to an inquiry, over 60% of them transact.
Yeah.
So that is a nice, easy benchmark. So if we invest the time in doing a video, it's back to that reciprocation. If you're one of the yes buts, right, and maybe you're managed by one of these crazy sales managers that goes, you better do 10 see it nows a day, or you're rubbish, you got 10 see it nows a day, 10 see it nows a day. You sell 5 cars, they're all in finance, they've all got 3 VPPs added to them. You're still rubbish because you've not done 10 see it nows. And it's not their fault. And there was a cracking, we took a guy on from a dealership in the Borders, and he came to work for us in Land Rover, and his manager was one of those managers. And so all he did is he sent videos like this, just ticking a box, and sent it. And he never got any trouble.
Whoa. So he actually said, just ticking a box.
Yeah, he showed me, he logged in to his old See It Now, into the log on, and he showed me all of these videos, just ticking a box, just ticking a box, just ticking a box. And his sales manager thought he was awesome because he did 10 see it nows a day.
I love that salespeople spend as much time working out how to frig the system, as opposed to just do it right.
See, they're not lazy, they're just creative. And if you allow them to be creative, what's that rule of management? The best you get is the lowest you'll accept.
See, clearly that salesperson didn't believe in the power of video. No. Otherwise, he wouldn't have just ticked a box. What does the customer think when they get the video through and they've ticked the box? I had one that we show on our course. Sorry, I'm cutting you off there. And I won't name the salesperson. It wouldn't be fair. But bless him, this guy just turns around and says, thank you for inquiring on the Golf. The car is still available. If you want more details, call me. And that's ticking a box. But I didn't realize someone would actually say tick a box.
Just ticking a box. It's
Okay.
phenomenal. Yeah, I explained to the customer that you had to do this. It was a mandatory requirement. And
wow.
Crazy.
I'd love to get that as a customer.
Like, okay, this guy's just ticking a box. I wonder what he'll be like serving me.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
But yeah, videos and expectation, Simon. There's so many people doing videos now, and the vast majority aren't fantastic. But do you know what? They're still good because the customer's surprised and delighted if they get one that's not just ticking a box and getting that through. So that's videos there. I think we also have within the kind of sales management area is what I call the phonosaurus. So the electronic lead comes in, an email lead comes in on a vehicle, and the sales manager's, have you phoned them yet? Have you phoned them? Have you phoned them? Have you phoned them? And he's emailed in. And now again, the challenge is to get hold of them on the phone, you're going to have to be quick. So most people are on a half-hour break and they've spent maybe 25 minutes on a half-hour break researching. They go, oh, that's the car inquiry. So if you can phone them within 5 minutes, you've got a 50% chance of getting hold of them and not getting their voicemail. But the problem with that is the customer's going to have questions about the car. And you really want to be able to answer those questions. Otherwise, you're going back to that traditional model, give me the questions, I'll phone you back, and then you're never going to get hold of them again because they now know your number. And so for me, I'd rather spend, if I can get them in under 2.5 minutes. I've got a great example, one of our guys up in one of the sites, and he'd inquiry came in. So it was a really nice inquiry. So the customer had paid a £99 deposit on an A1, and he put an inquiry on 2 Audi A4 Avants, ex-demonstrators, just been deflated. One was Nardole Grey and the other one was Brilliant Black. And so I'd been, our course is called Dinosaur to Digital. So we take the people who don't believe in doing videos and all the rest of it, and we turn them into digital people. So what happens there is a day of training with me, and then the next day, all the digital inquiries come into that room, and the people that have participated in the training yesterday get their time back because they get all the leads for today, but I manage them, so they use the techniques to get there. So this comes in and he says, right, this guy's paid a £99 deposit, so that car's going through, and he's inquired on these 2 A4 Avants. I went, well, do you know them? He went, well, the black one was my demo. I says, right, so you know that car inside out? He went, yeah. I said, phone the guy right now, this second. So he picks up the phone, and he said, oh, congratulations, Mr. Bowkett. The £99 deposit for your Audi A1 has just been accepted and went through. So what I need to establish is how we're settling the balance for that vehicle, and also, are we delivering it to you? Are you collecting it from here in Aberdeen? And the customer goes through the says, now, I also notice that you've put an inquiry in on two A4 Avants. Are you looking for both, or are you just looking for the better one of the two? And so the customer says, well, I'm looking for the better one of the two. He said, well, I can't comment too much on the grey one because it was one of the new car sales guys that ran that as a demonstrator, and we're in a separate building, so I only really see him in the canteen. But the brilliant black one, it just so happens that that was my demonstrator. Now, I live out in the middle of the country, there's no curbs anywhere near me, and he just went through his car.
Yep.
And the guy said, son, it sounds like the black one's the one for me.
Yeah,
Send me
yeah,
the link. So we did that, but it was because he knew the car inside out.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's
if it was
quite
on great, I'd have made him do the research and email the guy.
Hey, listen, sales managers, listen to this. Go back through the podcast and go and listen to Sean V. Bradley. He talks lots about this lady called Jennifer Suzuki as well. I think she's sensational on video. And they talk lots about, and there's kind of two schools of thoughts. In the UK, we have companies like Caldrip. Speak to Alistair Carmichael, and it's all about getting to the phone call straight away. Okay, great piece of technology. Then you've got rapid response, RTC. It's all about communicate with people in the way they want to be dealt with on an email. And I kind of get both sides of it. Which side would you lean down? It really sounds like it's the deal with them the way the customer wants to be dealt with first and earn the right to go to phone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I ask sales managers all the time when they have an argument with me, the yeah, but sales managers. Like, Simon walks into the dealership and you go, hi there, Simon, how you doing? Listen, it'd be much more convenient because we're a bit busy just now. Do you think you could go outside and phone me? Listen, thanks a lot for phoning. Could you just put all that in an email? You would never do that.
Yeah,
you would never do that. You would deal with the customer the way that they're choosing to be dealt with. And so it's for me, the time guidance is there. If it's above 7.5 minutes and I don't know the vehicle, I'm going to go email every day of the week. If it's under 7.5 minutes, I've got a chance that it won't go to voicemail.
Yeah, I suppose Alistair Carmichael, and again, he is a friend of the show. I'm sure he's going to email.
Yeah, he was episode 112. It was the episode before my first episode, 113. I make all of our new start salespeople listen to both those episodes.
Yeah,
so they've got a balance.
they've got the balance there, and it's quite interesting on there. And yeah, Alistair, he and I always remember this. He said, if you don't get to people within 15 minutes, it's 24 hours. It's after that. It's that's, and it makes sense because people live busy lives. Okay, they do it.
Well, I said the same. On mine, I said it was 9 to 16 minutes for the email, but see, that's miles out of date because that was June 2020, Simon.
Yeah, okay.
Like that was like 90 odd episodes ago. So it's now for me 7 to 11 minutes by email. Yeah. And the phone is 7 minutes. That's it. Or it's 24 hours, as Alistair says.
Yeah, that's it. So anything else there? Because I'm just looking at the time here. We probably need to start wrapping up some of this because anything else that you see that sharpening the sword, back to basics, sharpening the axe, that you see that salespeople are missing out on that they really need to go back and focus on?
The one thing that's always been a challenge in the industry is follow-up. It's getting that follow-up and following up on the customer that's maybe been in the showroom and left, or they've had we sent a valuation request in and we've emailed them. It's that follow-up, and it's how do I follow up?
Yeah. I tell you what I love, and we could talk forever about follow-up and what you say and how do you say it, but I'm looking at time there. But have a look at this. We're talking about, let's get back to the basics. Let's talk about 101 of sales. We haven't talked about closing. And so often I get sales managers say, help them close more, close more, close more. Let's have a look at the conversation we've had. It's all about opening up. And for me, that's the thing we need to get back to. Okay, let's open people up properly and they're going to be easy. You can't close someone that hasn't been opened up properly. And this whole conversation for over an hour now, it is all about opening. Get that right. Doesn't the close look after itself?
Yeah, obviously asking for a business is extremely important. It's like on the top right-hand corner up there in my notes, but yeah, asking for a business, you need to do it, and do it in the right way. I love the one that you do on the, what do you think? And the customer says, I need to think about it because you've programmed to say that,
Yeah.
But for me, it's that follow up, because the follow up has to happen a lot by electronically, and so do we do it by text? Do we do it by this? And one of the easiest things I got was Colombo follow-up, right? So remember Colombo. Now, Colombo's international.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
I remember working in Spain and I saw Colombo and he'd go, "We're not cause a mess," which he said, just one more thing, right? Solamente, we're not going to cause a mess, right? So he is that just one more thing. So you phone the customer, say, "Simon, listen, just one more thing. Did that happen to mention that came with the 2-year unlimited mileage warranty?" You did. Oh, really? Because I was wondering, if I'd missed something out, which is why you hadn't bought the car yet.
Yeah.
And it just, you're going back with something, even if you know you've said it. It makes that call easier rather than, listen, are you buying it or what?
Yeah. So true.
You
Follow-up calls. It's too often. It's like, hello, Mr. McAllister. You're in over the weekend having a look at an Audi Q5. I just phoned to see if you had any more thoughts about it. No? Okay, yes. So if you do, please give me a call. No, I shove the phone up my... no, son, no, no. Okay, bye. You've got no more idea than a goat. Something we're a huge advocate on is getting the people as soon as you can. We know people aren't sitting there thinking about the car for a week. And I'm a huge advocate of a same night follow-up call.
Yeah.
Now, the buts in the corner saying, oh, yeah, but you're bugging a customer there. No, the difference between pressure and persistence, the technique you use, I think, as long as you're giving information, if you want something, you need to give something. If you want respect, we need to give respect. Okay. If you want money, you need to give money to invest in money or work for money. If you want love, you need to give love. Or in some people's cases, maybe money. But if we want information, if we want information from people, we need to give information. So I love phoning Mr. McAllister same night on the way home and say, Colin, sorry for bugging you so soon. But the reason for the call is I forgot to tell you that Q5 you're looking at, it's actually got the roadside assistance for the next 3 years. Did I tell you that? No, you didn't. Yeah, I couldn't remember if I told you. It's just the equivalent of the AA cover. It's about 149 a year. So you just got short of whatever it is, 450 euros worth of extra value I forgot to tell you about. I just didn't want you making a decision without having all the facts. You're giving information, but then of course we can say, hey, Colin, when experience has taught me, when people leave the dealership, they get all the questions of the world about, has it got this or has it got that? I can ask you, what other questions do you have about that Q5? You're mentally putting the people back in the car. Now, answer their questions. But then that gives me permission to say, okay, Colin, well, I've got a question for you then. And now I'm going to steal David Martin's technique on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being that's the car you really want to be driving the next 2 or 3 years. And you just want to order it now. And so start driving it as soon as you possibly can. 1 being it's not the right one for you at all. Overall, how do you rate that car? It's always 7, 8, or 9.
7, 8, or 9, yeah.
Always. Hey, Colin, what do I have to change to make that a perfect 10? Or what have to alter to make that a perfect 10? You see, the hardest objection to overcome is the one you don't know what it is. If you know what it is, you've got a fighting chance to do it. Now, listen, sales managers, listen to this. All of this is on the sales fitness program. There's my plug. Okay, the sales fitness program. I know Colin and his team's all been through all of our sales fitness programs and the books there. There's another plug for our book there. But Colin, I'm watching the time here. If you're watching this in that sales meeting, thank you to your sales managers and your dealer principals playing this. I hope you got some ideas. Any last tips that you want to quickly leave people?
It's a challenge because we've talked about so many things. The other variation on that, and it's one of your podcasts, is the 100% sure of. It sounds like there's something you're not 100% sure of. So and that's so nice because it's like we've all bought stuff we're not 100% sure of, but we're 90% sure of, we're 95% sure of. So that's a lovely technique. And I think it's focus on the basics. It's get that signposting statement and get the qualification and add value to your experience, add value to the service that you offer. Don't ever be shy of that, and do a proper structured video with a purpose, giving the customer information, and then we'll get information, and more importantly, get their money off them and get them driving the new vehicle down the road and having a lovely part exchange vehicle for us to sell to somebody else.
Colin, clear that we love our programs, and people listen to this. Colin and I, we know each other very well, obviously. Colin's been a huge advocate of our sales fitness program. And listen, I wouldn't be a salesperson if I didn't say, listen, for $299, You get your salespeople to go through a 90-day program where we talk about all of these techniques out there, and it sharpens the saw there. So, hey, listen, go and get the book. Contact us. Mention this episode, Colin McAllister's episode 101, and we'll make sure we'll get you a free book there. And we'll do you 2 for the price of 1 on that sales fitness program as well. So, if you're a salesperson, listen to this. Now you need to be saying to your manager, I want that. I want that one. We're salespeople. So, listen, I want to say thank you very much for listening to this. And Colin, as always, thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you, Simon. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll hopefully see you again soon.
Great. That just leaves me to say that all details of this episode and other episodes on the selling in the motor trade can be found on our website, simcotraining.co.uk. Go there to get a copy of our book, Words That Sell Cars. Go there to sign up to a free trial of our Sales Fitness online sales training program. Easiest way to get hold of me is Simon Bowkett through LinkedIn.